Hi. I just wanted to share a quick thought with you. So the other day I was going to the gym early in the morning and I leaned forward, I guess in an angle I had never leaned forward like that before. And I suddenly saw the trip set button up near the steering wheel. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a button that you push, and when you push it, it goes to zero and it tells you, it'll take track of how far you've gone. Well, I don't really use that anymore. I've had this new car for 10 months and I had no idea where the button was. And I think the reason why we don't use the trip set button anymore is because we all have a GPS or an Apple CarPlay or Google Maps, and we just put in an address and immediately we get these directions and we just follow them and get to where we're going. And I didn't even realize, I don't think about it anymore. I mean, when I was growing up, the way that we drove was we didn't even have anything. We didn't even have MapQuest. We had nothing. You had the person that knew how to get there would give you directions. And sometimes if they knew about the approximate distance between one turn and another, they would let you know. And I would write that down in the directions, and that's when I would use the trip set button. So if I knew that after I make this turn it's about 2 miles to the next turn, I would hit the trip set button and it would help me to not have to look for that road name for 2 whole miles, but to be able to just drive, and then when I got there to be looking for it when I was near. And I just haven't used one in years because I haven't had to. And here's the thing, when I use a GPS, they have a play-by-play of all your turns and all the roads you're going to go on, and you can look at that. But I just haven't. I've just taken for granted that the GPS is going to tell me where I need to go, and I just put in the address and I push the button and I go. And that's what I've gotten used to. So I want to tell you a story. The trip set button reminded me of something. There was this time about a year ago when I went to go see a friend of mine, Lindsay, and she lives in the area I don't know at all. And she lives about a half hour away. It was a huge rainstorm. It was really bad, hard to see. I didn't know where I was going. And I set out to go see her. I put in the address and I pushed the button. And when I was about 25 minutes into this trip, my Apple CarPlay stopped working because of the storm. And I had no idea where I was. I had no idea. So I called her phone and her phone was not working. For whatever reason, probably also because of the storm, I don't know. But I couldn't reach her, the person that knew how to get me the rest of the way, and I could not figure out where I was. And so finally I got a hold of her husband, I got a hold of her, and I got to where I needed to go. But here's the thing, I had gotten so used to just pushing a button and going and not really preparing or understanding where I was going or having an idea of all the twists and turns I was going to take. And I just kind of took for granted and went. And it got me thinking about God and his directions for my life. I should be writing them down. I should be listening. He's the one that knows where I'm going to go. He's the one that has the directions on how to get there. And I need to be writing them down. And then I need to be checking in with him. I need to be setting my trip meter and saying like, okay, I'm feeling that you're telling me, in about this amount of time, like I should be doing something else. I'm not always going to stay on the same road in the same place, but you're going to be moving me around and I need to know where I'm going. And I think lately, I've just kind of been pushing the button and going. And the world is going to crap out on me just like my Apple CarPlay did. And the world is not going to give me the right directions, and they're not going to always leave me where I know where I am. But the difference in this scenario is if I did have a situation where I didn't know where to go, the Holy Spirit is able to guide me. The Father is always accessible to me, and I can always pull over and I can always tune into him and ask where I need to go next. But I need to be taking the time to really think about where I'm going, to really be listening, to know ahead of time what all the turns that I know about are, and to trust that God's going to give me the next piece as I go. And I think it was pretty funny that I had this button and I had no idea it was even there. Of course, I had to push it as soon as I found it and set it to 0. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start using my trip meter again. And I think I'm also going to start looking at the play-by-play directions when I'm going somewhere new, so that if for some reason when I get there or I'm halfway there and something happens, I at least have a general idea where I'm going. That's a good idea for our lives as well. You know, we need to be sitting down with God and getting a general idea of where we're going before we go. And I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you have a great day. All right, thanks. Bye bye.